Hello and welcome to the episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and welcome.
Hooah.
Hooah!
Hooah. We're watching the weirdest named movie that you've ever picked.
Oh, of course.
Smelly lady.
Man,
It's
dude.
such a weird name for a movie, but I mean, I
It's
get
not the
it.
actual name. It's scent of a woman.
Oh yeah, we got a big difference.
Anyways.
Be a good name for the episode. Smelly lady.
Oh, gosh. Jesus.
Yeah.
So, anything happened this past week, guys? Anything fun that you want to talk about?
Been pretty devoid of fun lately.
My last day at my first job, the job I always talk about, the retail job, the coffee shop job I always talk about. My last day was this past Saturday.
It's over.
Which by the time you guys are hearing this will almost have been basically like a week ago. But yeah,
You see, we operate by the old school rule of time dilation.
yes,
We might as well be in space right now.
heck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, 100%. And
Don't look it up, please. It gets really confusing very
Oh,
fast.
but it's so cool.
Anyways, so yeah, so my availability now has opened up so much in some regards, but also not in others, because the job that I'm now kind of working full time at is of course going to be requiring some more of me, but that still leaves me with a lot more availability, which I'm super excited about.
Don't worry, Ian. I'm sure the audience will be able to hold themselves back long enough
Thank you guys,
until they're
and
able to finally hang out with you.
I really appreciate that. I know it doesn't mean anything a whole lot to the podcast, but I just know I like to keep people updated because I know right now my social life and my free time these past 5 to 6 months has been almost insignificant.
Careful they don't become synonymous.
Yeah. So the thing is, I would like to put more time into the podcast, even though it's still just a hobby. I still enjoy it,
It's fun.
I find it enjoyable. I find it so much fun, and I felt bad for a large portion of time these past few months because we've been, amping up, like doing more and wanting to do more, and then of course my job's been asking so much more of me, which has made it harder to do more.
I definitely feel like we need to retcon the whole scheduling of this thing.
Yeah,
At the very least, because, I mean, with the way we're doing it now, we end up either waiting until it's too late or we do it until it's too late,
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, a large portion of that was because of my busy week some
Right.
days. So again, there was
At this point, the schedules can't be helped. It's just a nice idea.
I was about to
Yes.
say, when I'm on night shift, absolutely no choice. I just can't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Flat out. On the
Which
days
is-
we have scheduled, I just can't.
which is understandable. But for me, there was a point in time where I was okay with doing the podcast the night before because we could watch a movie, I could quickly edit and upload it. But then it very, very quickly became where the job that I'm doing all the producing work and all the editing work, where that editing almost expanded like twofold.
Right.
And then of course, not only that, the one of those two things then got so much more creative. There's a lot more moving parts and all that, which again is understandable. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
It's what I signed up for, which is okay. But when my night consists of editing that all night long, I have no room to, casually watch a movie and talk with
Yeah.
my buddies about it for give or take 3 hours,
When was it that
So,
there was a nice little spell where we had watched several movies and had
yes.
some reserves going?
Yes, we did. That was before all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
That was before.
That was nice.
That was nice. Was nice.
Yeah.
But
It
then,
was
like I said, we don't got to get into all the details, all the nitty gritty with all that. But that's what I was talking about.
That's
This-
for us to suffer through, and you never to have
Yes.
to do that.
But what I'm hoping for is with this newfound availability and this, because what it was before was I had my first job, I had my second job, and this was my hobby. And unfortunately, this had to take that third place slot because again, it's not giving us
It's
any
a
money.
hobby.
It's a hobby. It's something we love to do and it's fun and I enjoy it. But
It is not a necessity.
I could not justify the hours put into it because of my career paths.
What he's getting to, folks, is that we are canceling the podcast.
No, what I'm getting into is that you're not
All
important. You're not important.
All hated podcasts.
I'm kidding.
Please,
Please, I'm kidding. Please, I'm so sorry.
20-something
Please.
episodes in. You can just quit now. Bye.
There's no more.
Anyways,
Bye.
so by me saying all that, just know that I'm hoping to put more of my time into this, more care, more love, being able to have a reserve of some kind that
More
we can.
cool.
Yes, more cool.
Bigger. Better.
Ideas. I'm hoping for a whole lot of new stuff. So
Enhanced
yes,
with the finest
In
and latest
Technicolor.
technology. Panavision.
Panavision, Dolby Atmos surround sound.
Fourth Dimensional will tell you what scent to spray so that you can smell it while we're talking about it on the podcast. We'll
Hell
go
yeah.
all Fourth Dimensional on you.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I just felt like I wanted to talk about that because that's important to me right now in my life, and it hopefully means that some more cool things are coming for the podcast in the future. And just know that I care, and I'm trying.
Well, of course you do.
I'm trying, guys. Anyways, do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we get into the episode?
Oh, no.
I mean,
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Enough said. Thanks, guys. Okay.
Oh wait, shit! I forgot.
Oh, jeez.
It's too late. I already moved on. Okay.
Are you fine? Jeez.
I got 3 syllables, man. Too much. Yeah, in case you guys couldn't tell, that was a death stare. Ever since in the movie he mentioned 2 syllables, I've been telling Dylan that I've got X amount of syllables and then not meeting the criteria for him. Dude, I got 3 syllables for you. Oof.
For those who don't know, Ethan is a fucking liar.
He hates me in the most loving way possible. You
Yes, of
continue your
course.
sentence.
I hate you with all
Do
my
it.
hate.
Yikes.
Do it.
I recently beat all the No More Heroes games finally.
Oh yeah, that's a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you had those games for?
Well, the funny thing is, I got the second one first, Desperate Struggle, like way back when I just found it at like a GameWare.
Yeah, this is that story. Oh.
And I was a big stupid the first time I saw the first game, because at the time I didn't pick it up because I didn't have a Wii.
Unfortunately.
And then a buddy of mine gives me one for free. With
Nice.
like I'm talking, he gave me the whole
The-
shebang.
I remember that.
Had a pro controller, a working nunchuck,
Yeah.
and
I remember you sat there and you were like,
everything
"Are you
else.
sure?" Are you,
Yeah.
It was in my living room. You were
It
like,
was-
or I guess now.
who the fuck?
Yeah, it was in
Just
our living
gives
room now.
you, like,
You were sitting there like, just all of it?
didn't cost
Yeah,
me
I
a dime.
He's like, nah, just take it. And you're like, all right.
And just as soon as that wave of joy washed over me, it was quickly overshadowed by a wave of regret and self-loathing.
Great.
Just
Because I didn't pick up that fucking copy when I had the chance, and now
thus started the
took
quest.
It took me
Thus started the quest.
at least a year and a half until I got my hands on a
Yep.
copy of the original
Yep.
that I miraculously found at a thrift store for like $20.
Yeah. We traveled
Yes,
to find that game.
it
We
was,
went on an actual journey,
It
on
was
a quest.
side quest.
It was one.
if
No.
ever.
It was the main quest for a hot point in time. For one weekend.
It was my holy grail,
Yes. It was his trial.
and I have it.
And
And
low.
the journey did not work.
And
but
you want
we
to
did
know?
find it.
And you want to know the insult to injury?
They ported both of them to the fucking Switch that I had for
Immediately
at least
after.
3
Like
years.
last weekend, right?
They poured it to the Switch like immediately after he had
last
all of them.
fucking weekend.
Hey! It's the journey. There was the quest and the journey.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
in it.
that was- yeah, good job on that one.
I got both physical copies of the
we
originals. I
got to
don't
go.
care.
We got to go to so many cool places in
Mhm.
what was it, Houston?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so
and we
fun.
got to go back now.
We got to go back now.
because Gundam Kingdom exists there.
I
Sean,
still
did I tell you? Ethan, did I tell you about this?
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
that's gonna happen.
I don't care. It's fine.
It's a cool place.
It's neat.
It's like they opened a shop for Dylan and Dylan alone.
They
Yeah.
knew me.
They totally did. There's also a Lego store over there though, so I'm down.
I forgot about the Lego store.
We got to
All I
go.
want. I
We're
want a Lego
going.
store.
We're going back.
Someday.
The
Okay.
decoration at the Lego store.
Anyway, that's enough out of me.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Thanks
Time
for
for the
sharing.
movie.
Thanks for sharing. We watched a movie called.
Gross.
Is it the
No, it's just Scent of a Woman.
Scent
Yeah.
of a Woman?
Scent of a Woman.
And I have never heard of this movie.
I was glad that I'd never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm just being honest here.
Oh, it told you.
I've never seen it, never heard of it. But of course, on the case it says Pacino on it, and I was like, oh,
Like I
Good
don't
old
even need to ask.
Scarface.
Yes.
Don't even need to ask anybody who their favorite character is in this movie. Because even though I always am like, I don't want to be the protagonist. I want a favorite character that's not the main character. I don't even care. The favorite character, definitely Lieutenant Colonel, 100%.
Slade.
You cannot.
this
beat
movie
him.
was written around him.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be.
I was
the
really
main
hoping
character.
that like it was gonna take, because I didn't know anything about the movie at all.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was gonna take a different turn, and he was just like in that one initial scene where they talked, and he had so many good lines, and then
Yeah.
the whole movie was gonna move on back to the school, and I was really hoping that was it, because I was like, no one can compare to him. I hope that he's this like 5-minute character, and he's still my favorite.
Oh,
but he
no.
actually ended up being the main character. But
So who?
You don't give Pacino 5 minutes of screen
yeah,
time.
well, I don't know anything about movies, so I don't know who this
That's
guy
okay.
is. I don't know.
So he, I know, he, I know
Or
he
you
was
will.
in. I know he was in
Right.
Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the guy in Godfather?
You mean the Godfather?
Who was the lead role in that one?
He was.
I can't remember. I can't remember his name. I feel bad. People have crucified me over this because I've never seen The Godfather or Scarface.
Well, that's what this podcast is about. Is we
I
haven't
know.
seen the Godfather or Scarface. You never seen Back to the
We-
Future. That's
all
what
the-
this is all is about. Because
Yes.
we never saw these movies.
Right.
And I'm hoping that at some point we can remedy that.
Oh yes.
I've
it
also
will
never
be
seen
rectified.
Ghostbusters, Dead Poet Society, or Pulp Fiction, or Titanic.
my God.
So
So
I'm still surprised I don't have most of those.
what I was saying
Mm-hmm.
was I have heard of the wonders of Al Pacino.
Yes.
Great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy.
Oh yes.
I have I've
It
never
was Al Pacino.
it was okay, so he was in okay.
Yeah, he was in The
Oh,
Godfather.
okay, that's what I thought too. Because I didn't want to say that, and of course people go like, "You freaking idiot! It wasn't him." So that's the thing is that his two pillars of like probably acting fame I haven't seen. So and again, probably a shame that this
I
is.
mean, you got a good one under your belt now.
That was what I was gonna say. I was like, it's probably a shame to some people that my first Al Pacino movie is this one, and not his like his standing stones of cinematic holiness.
Anybody
you
who
know?
says that's a shame is
I exactly. I'm not saying that's me because
Right.
I enjoyed this movie so much.
I'm guessing
and it was,
every movie he's in is a Lord of the Rings length movie. Because like this one was 2 hours and 40 minutes. I hear that The Godfather is longer than
oh yes.
all of the Lord of the Rings movies combined.
Excuse
I don't
me.
know about that, but
The way people talk
It's a
about
10-hour movie?
People talk about The Godfather like whenever Chase mentions it, he talks about The Godfather, and he's like, I once watched a movie for what felt like an hour, and then slept and woke up, and the movie was still on, and he was like. And there was still plenty of movie left to go. He was like, I physically can't watch this movie. So
Really?
while
the way
that is appropriate, Chase is also a sleepy bitch.
Yeah.
Chase is also Chase. He probably slept for 30 minutes. I was like, wow, I'm so ready for the day. Like it was 8 hours. But still, like what I'm
He
saying
slept 30
is,
minutes through
yeah.
a 3-hour movie.
He was like,
I
oh,
wish I had the
and then just
concept of
injected
time that
himself with
Chase
some
does.
liquid coffee and was like, yay, time for Home Depot or wherever he works. Right. So like, yeah, but
wow.
I'm guessing that all his movies are this freaking long.
Yeah,
I don't know. It felt good to me. Yes, it was probably long, and I felt
It felt long as frick. I mean, I
I
liked it,
could
but
definitely tell your patience
No.
was waning a bit.
No, I just fell asleep almost like twice. That's all. It's not like I freaking loved it. It was a great movie, but I also like fell asleep like twice.
Yeah.
The
'cause
only
it's
time
late.
I ever realized that it was getting kind of long was towards that tail end of the part where I was like, we have gone over so much of the movie.
Right, because
And I-
after like the major event,
I think
yeah.
like honestly, before even maybe at like right around the middle is whenever I was like, frick, this is a long movie. Because I knew that we were like had all of the movie left to go. We're nowhere in the story, but I have sat through what was definitely an hour and a half of the movie. And I was like, how? Like
Well,
that's where I knew I was
yes,
like,
it was
this is
a long movie, but it was a great movie from start
I'm
to
not
finish.
saying it was bad. I'm just saying like sitting
well, let's-
halfway through it, I was like, oof.
Chill out a little bit.
Like,
Yeah, it was.
lengthy.
There was only one part where I felt like that, and it was like towards that tail end part where I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
we have-
it always it'll hit you eventually.
because like I was trying to say before, we have already established so much of these characters. We've already covered so much ground. But the one thing that I've noticed time and time again throughout the movie was all of the quips that came out of Colonel Slade.
The
his
man
character.
is a poet.
So many, he had said, I can't even recount to you all of the hilarious things that he said, because there was always a part where when he's on scene, he says something that just feels natural.
It is.
That just feels so much of the character.
It is verbal ambrosia that man spews.
I love it. Hooah! Like all his little, all his little quips and his little like sneaky one-liners he puts in there that just fit so well and just
that's another thing this movie enlightened me with, is that the Hooah has been present in my family for a while now. My dad is the sole proprietor of the Hooah.
Really?
And after watching this movie, I found out the origin of the Hooah.
Yeah?
And where it came from.
Well, there you go.
Like, I'm assuming he took heavy inspiration
from
from this character, like in the movie, because he's like,
he's a fun character to play.
Right.
It's just this hard, grizzled man that just like doesn't take no shit from nobody.
Yep.
I think that if your dad was blind, he could be that character.
My dad is definitely an acolyte of the Pacino.
Like, if he was blind, he could be this character.
Man,
I think
just like from the get go. Not only again cinematically, our character Charlie walks in, and this guy is sitting there with his glass half full of
John Daniels.
John Daniels. He's sitting there with a cigar, and the light casts across him. Beautiful. I'm talking about aesthetic over here.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there like just big man on a stump right there.
I have stumbled upon an old god.
Yes, I have stumbled upon the man himself, Al Pacino, in all his glory. And he just starts like reaming into the kid.
Yep.
For obvious reasons.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah.
Dismissed. Dude, there's just so I wish that I could.
How he shouts, "Are you blind?" to the other guy. The blind man, whenever he touches his arm, he says, "Are you blind?" I was like, "Are you? Aren't you?"
No, I am blind. I grab your arm. You don't grab mine.
Yeah.
So good. I just
what do your parents do? Well, they run a convenience store. Oh, convenient.
Oh, how convenient.
Oh, how convenient.
And
what
also,
what he said,
I don't know the context of this line or what this means, but I'm just going to be honest. My favorite line ever that I'm going to figure out how to put in my daily life is hustle and jalapeno dips to the apple seeds.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I think he means Johnny Appleseeds, like the pioneer lands, New Hampshire, like that kind of Pennsylvania area.
Yeah.
Old Johnny Appleseed over here, he's just moving around, doing his thing, selling jalapeno.
And the line we mentioned before, where he says like, "We got your John Daniels," and he was like, "Don't you mean Jack Daniels?" He says, "He may be Jack to you, but you know him as long as I have." It's a joke. I was like,
it's so good. I my favorite quote in that same phrase that Ethan's talking about with the whole jalapeno cheese thing or whatever was when he talks about, he's like, something about your parents, something about your mom and your pop peddling corn nuts.
How do you afford it?
Oh,
the student aids and your mom and pa
peddling corn nuts. It's like, man.
Yeah, he was the best. One of the best characters.
It also just has that like
the best created character I've seen in film in probably a long time.
Yeah,
just because he's just
iconic.
Yeah, and no, he was so well played as a blind character, and
I
think it was really good.
Oh yeah,
he made the movie just.
I just like
every corner.
Also, like because it was filmed in 92, I think because it has that because it's filmed in 92 and it's filmed in New York at this, it just has that certain
je ne sais quoi.
It has that certain something like about a 90s movie, like the Home Alone movies has a certain feel to it because again it was
I got a lot of Home Alone vibes in the street scenes.
Because it was I think that's all filmed kind of in that same time period, like just like the 70s movies and the 80s movies, they all have that kind of certain feel about them. This had that like 90s vibe to it, and it was so cool.
Be my age showing, but did anyone else not expect film grain for a movie in the 90s.
I didn't.
The reason why I didn't is because we watched older movies that didn't seem to have it. I mean, we watched.
Right.
I think our oldest movie was
Yeah.
Cool Hand Luke in like the 70s or something,
Mhm.
and it still didn't seem like it really had film grain like that. I think that
Yeah.
must have been an artistic preference or the way it was filmed or
Probably
something.
so.
I don't know because it didn't seem like it fit. This was a
It-
92 movie.
It
Right.
may have been
Like
the way it
Aliens
was
didn't
shot.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, we may be looking at a difference between like Blu-ray remasters
You're right.
and
Yeah,
an
because this
original.
was just a regular DVD.
Yeah, so
I
that
had
could
lying
be
around.
like probably like
Might be
a
that.
lower resolution kind of digital effect, or possibly, or again because it was also in '92, like it still could have been like late '80s technology stuff, late, you know, kind of stuff. So it could be something. So I mean, it all depends. But I
That's a good movie.
loved it. It was a great movie,
Yeah.
dude,
Mhm.
all around. I loved because obviously you had so much time. They did a great job, I think, of introducing important characters, side characters,
And assholes.
and
Yeah.
figuring out who's who in the whole.
I figured
mix
out my
of
least
things.
favorite character in the first 30 seconds of the movie, and I said
Yeah.
it too. Freaking long hair boy. I was like,
Oh,
ooh, I
Jesus.
hate that guy.
Oh, you
And,
mean
like, we
you
were
mean
like,
George Wilson Jr.
yeah, Junior. I was gonna just call him Junior because all I remember.
I just say
But
Philip,
freaking Junior. You know, you could also call him Ron Weasley. He kind of had that look about him
Fat
too.
Ron
but that
Weasley
is
ass.
that is Philip Seymour Hoffman. That is like the guy.
Sure, I just call him Junior. Didn't like his character. Hated his character.
He's always
Yeah.
kind of been the bad guy character to me. Ever since the Mission Impossible, is that the one he was in?
Mhm.
I think so.
Well,
He's
he
just
kinda
got
talk-
that look.
He's got kind of talks like this, you know, I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And then kinda
I think
talk
he
like
did
that.
very good at playing a bad character and making me hate him, but I
Yeah.
hated him.
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah. Dude, like even our main guy Charlie, getting enough backstory like right up front to figure out what's going on. It felt like the first few minutes felt very quick as far as like what's going on, establishing why we're here, what's happening, to get you interested, and then they leave so much of that act 2 to really flush out that, which I liked. Again, it felt long, but it left again. It kept hearkening back to that phrase that the niece kept. It said that one time that was like, by the end of the weekend, you guys are going to be friends. Trust me. Just-
Right.
By
Hey.
Monday, you guys are gonna be best
Yeah, yeah,
friends.
yeah.
And by Monday, he was busting him out.
They might as well have been father and son.
Yes, exactly. And I like that bit of foreshadowing because I could
Mhm.
tell that was most likely what was going to happen. But I
Right.
love to see the journey of how they got there,
Yeah.
and then that whole weekend trip
Ugh.
to New York.
It was
and
a
of course,
trip, all right.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
buddy, a trip, man.
My vacations, I aspire to hit that level.
Yes.
The only thing that I didn't like about the movie was, and I understand already, I can already tell what you're gonna think or say, Dylan. The only thing I didn't like about the movie is like his like unwillingness to rat on his friends. I get that this is supposed to talk about his character and how he is like an upstanding guy. Totally get that and totally agree that like, yeah, no, you're not gonna do that's your character. You're not gonna do that. But also, especially after the other guy literally ratted them out, all this dude has to say on the stand is, I think I might have saw 3 people, and then the other guy gets all the fallback because he ratted them out. All you
Now,
said.
Here's where I'm
I didn't
going to
get that.
agree with you.
Okay.
Those 3 were shit. Those 4 were shit.
Yeah, I just
I'd have
didn't.
ratted them immediately.
It's not even that I would have ratted them. Again, the other dude ratted them first. All I have to do is be like, yeah, I think he's right. I think I saw like 3 people, and then the whatever his name, I almost called him the mayor, whatever the headmaster guy, is just gonna be like, well, between your 2 stories, we're gonna say it's those 3, and then all the fallback goes on freaking Ron Weasley.
Yep.
Well, but the problem is that they ended up saying that on the stand. He's like, because his story is vague and all that kind of stuff, and it's not really
Well, yeah.
credible. He says
Unsubstantiated.
unsubstantiated or whatever.
Yeah.
He says he's not in trouble at all.
Yeah.
Because his
No,
dad
That's
was there.
bull.
No,
Because
I
his
get
dad
that.
was there, and of course his dad has all the money, and of course is
Yeah.
a superior backer. So even though if what's his name said it may have been 3 guys, it still wouldn't have gone back on him. I think as
I
it
still
still
think-
would have been.
I still think, again, even if it doesn't go back on them, it can't really go back on you either. I think I saw 3 people, and then the only 3 people that have been mentioned are the
Yeah.
ones that the unsubstantiated guy has mentioned.
Right.
That's why it's like, you're good. Or even just buy yourself some time and be like, I think I saw kids putting some yellow thing on a light bulb, and then you're not just saying, I can't say anything to this
Yeah.
dude who knows you know more. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Like-
all the scenes of them trying to figure out if they should rat each other out and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is really I don't feel like most human people would be doing this. If they're gonna lie, they'd be lying in different ways to buy themselves time to think. And if
Right.
they're not gonna lie, they'd just be like, nah, it was those bitches over there. Give me my scholarship. Which I don't know.
I think that was also probably
That was a free pass to Harvard.
I think it was a fault
because of his
with it was a fault
character.
with the lead character and his relationship with the three guys. I don't think it fleshed out probably how good or how not
they
good of
didn't
friends
seem like they
are.
were
Yeah,
friends
they-
at all.
nah,
Like
it
that's
was
the
just
movie
like-
really
Yeah.
made it seem like they were just a
But
bunch of
I'm
just
just saying,
dudes.
on the movie's behalf, they're probably closer friends than the movie's giving them credit for, and so that's why he probably feels the need to not want to rat them out because even though they're probably scummy, he probably is better friends with them than they're making it
Yeah.
out to be.
But like,
So.
'cause, like if we're talking about the Harvard thing in his future, like you may as well throw that one out, right?
Yeah.
That offer. First off, because that's an unsubstantiated offer, right?
Mm.
I just don't believe it in the first place. I don't
Right.
believe the scummy headmaster is going to offer me that at all, or can. But even if he could, again, we're talking about this guy's character. That shouldn't be the selling factor. But when he's on the stand, and like the other dude rats his friends out, you may as well. You're not the one who ratted him out. They're already sold out. You may as well
Right.
just be like, yeah, I think you're right. I think
That
I
was
saw.
them.
I think I saw those three. I feel like most people would be like, yeah, I think I saw those three. Because then it's a win-win. Like, right?
Mhm.
If they get mad at you, you'd be like, dude, he ratted you out first. I just was like over here kind of agreeing and just trying to go. But then also, you also get the scholarship.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was a kind of what seemed like a simple win-win. But again, I don't know. That's the only thing I didn't like about the movie was his, like, trying to figure out if he should rat them out or not. I was like, I don't know. It seems kind of like a thing that most people would very like polarizing would lean toward one or the other. Like I won't do this because it's against what I'm not a rat, or I'm gonna do this because they're assholes anyway, and I don't care if I'm a rat. I feel like there's very few people who would sit in that middle and be so torn like he was in the movie. So that was the only thing I really didn't. But the rest of everything about the movie, the storytelling, the drama of like the gun, the drama, him wanting to, everything else with the movie, literally A1. But that one thing I was like, that didn't feel right.
That felt like the subplot to the overall movie.
Yeah.
The movie in its core was the relationship between these two characters. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and say it, like the main plot of the movie was having this weekend of fun, crazy time. And then
So Slade could kill himself.
Colonel was going to commit suicide.
He wanted to live it up, and then
Bit of a
and
bucket
then,
list.
Yeah, he wanted to live it up and then shoot himself in the hotel room.
So that was the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was kind of tiding over the bridge, the gap, was that kind of subplot. So the fact that it wasn't probably flushed out the way it was supposed to be, I was like, nah, I mean, yes, it's the side quest to our main objective here. It kind of is what sprinkles in.
I have acquired the old man.
Yes, exactly. Well, I think it kind of sprinkles in like the ability for the colonel to kind of be like, "What's going on, son?" Like, like he's like,
I did like
he's
the
like, I feel this heavy weight in the car.
Right,
And he's
I
like,
love
you
that.
have the
why.
weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah,
I feel that heavy weight again, son. What are you doing?
Yeah, I really did like him getting up and, oh, and you three over there. Frick you!
Yeah,
I don't know
fuck you too.
And I don't know where you're at out there, but frick you! Yeah. Every line in that final speech was just
Was the
straight,
best.
was straight fire. I'm not freaking done yet.
I'm not finished.
Like, oh man.
Not gonna lie, when we get up to that last part where he sends off Charlie to go get cigars, but he comes back and of course he's getting all dressed up, whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, you ain't got no cigars, do you?
That whole fight, so tense, so real, and of course,
one of my favorite lines in that scene was whenever he's like, fine, do it, end it, I'm ready to go, shoot me, kill me, and he's like saying something, he's like, you're not ready to die, and then he just says, and you're not either. I was like, oh snap,
Yeah.
main character finally got some balls.
The
It
part
was
that
really good.
What made me feel like that?
You get tangled up, you just tangle on.
You're right.
Yeah,
Like, are
that
you asking me to dance, Charlie?
that right there.
Are you asking me to dance?
That right there was what kind of choked me up.
Was
The
good.
fact when he's like, you're just in pain or whatever and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, you
Yeah.
don't know pain or all that kind of stuff. But then he starts talking about it. It's like, you just kind of tangle on, do your thing. It's like, dang, dude, that hits a little harder.
Yeah.
But the part where I realized like lead character's got some balls. But he's like, what did he say? You blind.
You miserable blind bastard.
no, you miserable blind motherfucker.
Motherfucker, that's what it
I
was.
was like, damn, dude.
Yeah. I really like where he's like, go on, kill me. And he's like, you're not ready to die. And he says, and you're not either. And I was like, oh, he thought you were going to kill yourself tonight. Dude, I thought it was such a good line. That a lot of them were good in that fight, though.
The one that got me the most was, what life? I ain't got no life. I'm in the dark.
Right, yeah.
And he's just screaming. Oh, it's so real. Al Pacino's just sitting there just like, there's so many times where he just, not only does he have like this kind of rough, grizzled voice, but there's so many times where he just like really gets into it and is like shouting, and is loud about it, and it's like, whoa, it's so aggressive.
Like, hola,
yeah. Well, it's like any other like rough man, like when he gets loud and starts screaming, you're like, oh, everyone's gonna pay attention. Right. It's kind of one of those moments, and at that point, he's like, I'm in the dark, I'm in the dark, and you're just like, oh damn,
like shit,
I'm
dude.
Sorry, dude.
Mood.
You shouldn't juggle grenades.
One too many John Daniels.
Yikes, dude. The whole family moment when he goes home.
Those two roasting each other was good. At the end, whenever it was just homie roasting Slade, wasn't as fun. But those two going at it with each other, I was like, oh, yeah. Get him, Slade. Ooh, that was a hit. Get him back. Oh, I got him. It was a good back and forth for a while.
Many a hooah was had.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And what made me kind of sad. What made me kind of sad. Yeah. And he's like, ooh, And I was like, oh, man. He's trying to be a part of his family, but doesn't understand. His family hates him, or at least his nephew does.
His fucking nephew,
I'm
piece
kind
of
a
shit.
Dick, anyways.
But him putting him in that military chokehold, whatever he called Charlie Chuck.
Ranger's chokehold.
He called him Chucky. He called him
Chuck. He called him Chucky, which is what Slade had called him a couple times.
Yeah, he called him Chuck, and he's like, oh.
And so he was like. So first off, he called the other guy's wife like Beatrice or something like that, and that was not her name. And he was like, "You're gonna get her name right." So then he calls. Charlie, he calls him Chuck, and he's like, his name's Charlie. You do good to remember that. Calls him Chuck again, and then he freaking choke slams him against the wall. And like, then of course, my favorite part of that is he calls him Chuck, choke slams him against the wall, and then like everyone moves on. He gets ready to leave, and then he says, "Come on, Chuck, we're getting out of here." And I was like, that was just great,
dude. There's like
just choke slams him for.
There's a part where like he does that, where like he does it a second time, and then of course like. Picks him up, like he said, choke slams him against the wall, and is like, he's like, this is a military something choke something. It's like one slip, I want to crush your windpipe.
Yeah,
and he's like,
apply a little pressure.
And it is like his name is Charlie, and he's like, you're gonna say it after me or whatever. He says something like that, and he's like, come on, just say it. And everyone's like freaking out, like, get off him! Yeah. Oh my god! And the only thing the colonel's thing is like, looking at him, just like, just say it. Just say Charlie. That's all. And I'm like, dude, damn. Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's so real. Man, I enjoyed this movie a lot, if you guys can't tell.
It's a good one.
It was a good one. There's just so much to unpack. Like I said before, I wish that I would have written down more of his like little quips that he made. It warrants a second watch. If you haven't seen it yet, it warrants a watch just for Al Pacino and all his little quips he throws in there. It's so funny. It's so great.
This movie is an ammo case.
Yes, just riddled with funny
one-liners. Take what you will and use it well.
Hooah.
Freaking hooah.
Thank you guys for joining us on this wild ride.
Yeah, and don't forget to hustle those jalapeno dips to the apple seeds.
Pedal those corn nuts.
Pedal those corn nuts and hustle them jalapeno dips to the apple seeds, my guys.
Yep. And don't forget to
like and subscribe. And
fuck you too.
Oh man.
Anyways, thanks for joining us on this episode. If you're looking for ways to find us, you can find us at The Aftermath on all your podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Or you can go on Linktree and you can see all of our social media stuff or links to all those things I just aforementioned.
It's got that automation down.
Sounds
like a robot now.
I've done it once or twice. Or what are we on?
It's a subroutine now.
We're on episode 30 now, I think.
Yep.
So at least 30 times, give or take.
Is that a cloaca?
Oh my god! No.
I thought of that episode a while back. And I was like, wait, is that a cloaca?
That was so good.
Anyways, until next week, guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.